Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the Varun Jaggi Show. Today we have another very special guest with us. Her name is Premsai ma'am. She's someone that I look up to. So I'll just give a brief introduction of her and then we will welcome her on the show. So Premsai ma'am is the founder of Enhanced Life Skills. She's a postgraduate diploma holder in human resource management from Amity University, New Delhi. She's a certified master trainer and a facilitator who pours her passion and commitment towards training. She's highly reputed and much respected life skills coach because she inspires people through her life experiences. Premsai ma'am experienced heart-wrenching situations at a very young age as she is just about overcoming the tragedy of her brother's death. Was settled and she had to go through a lot. A slip disc pushed her into bed physically, rendered her helplessly. So I think today's podcast is going to be, uh, you know, about soft skills and also about her journey, of overcoming all the difficulties that she faced in her life. So without waiting any further, I would like to welcome Premsai ma'am on the podcast. Hello and welcome.
Thank you so much, Varun, and for having me here. And this is really a very great opportunity to share my story and help people around so that they also can be focused and give meaning to their life, whatever they are doing in their life. Thank you so much.
Okay, just 1 second. That's absolutely great, and today I'm also not going to miss, talking about your journal that we talked about, and I'm going to throw a set of questions at you, and we're just going to, move forward with those questions. And meanwhile, if I have anything to ask you, I'll just keep asking those questions as and when they arise in my mind. So ma'am, my first question to you is, could you tell us about, a little bit about your story as a soft skills trainer?
Okay, Varun, I started my journey as a technical trainer. I had no clue about that I would move to this space of training. Though I started as a trainer, but that was of I was teaching C++ back then. In I'm talking about 2004 5 that time. And so I started as a C++ trainer, but then within 3 4 months I realized that I love training, but I am not liking the subject. Though I was very good in that, the technical aspect of it, but I was more interested towards knowing people's behavior, observing those patterns, and helping them to in their journey of self development. So that I realized in that 3 4 months, and then eventually, gradually, I would say that I got an opportunity to join Bharti Cellular Limited Airtel, and I was Sambalpur district in charge. And there I started interacting with people. That was my first job, and there I realized that I'm liking this interacting with people, communicating with people, and that's where I identified that I can also be a trainer regarding in this subject. And that's where my journey started, becoming a trainer on life skill subjects. And then I moved to Delhi after my marriage. There I got an opportunity to work with various company into a combination role of recruitment and training. So eventually I moved to training in NIT Limited, where I got an opportunity to be a soft skill trainer. So I would say it was a very emerging process, evolving process, where these days we have mentors who help us to identify what are your areas where you should be considering taking your career into. But those days it was very accidental, and eventually bolte na ki गिरते पढ़ते सीखा है. So it was that kind of process where I hopped into becoming a soft skill trainer. And the moment I got that role in NIT, it was a feeling of coming back home. And then I understood that okay, this is it that I always wanted to do.
Great. I think if we can mix that passion with that profession, I think things change. And
Absolutely.
beautiful, beautiful answer. Okay. So I don't have any follow-up questions on this as of now, but I have another question from you, which is, in your opinion, okay, what are some of the most important life skills or soft skills for personal and professional growth, both?
what not, I would say, because when we are living on this earth, I would consider saying it as a human skills rather than saying it as a soft skill, because we call it as a soft skill, but we know how hard it is. And even everybody really struggle with this, to be soft per se. So I basically love to call it as a human skills. And where is it not, we don't use that. There is no such area where we do not need soft skill, because uh, I would use a metaphorical example here, Varun. That is the hardware is the body, right? A high-end technological body where the brain is very developed, and the mind is the software. So I would relate a life skill to be the software, which helps the software to upgrade its version to align with the hardware that we have got, the human body. And then we actually function to its fullest potential. Imagine a high-end hardware, and the operating system is DOS operating system. What would happen? The system will collapse. So I would say that life skills, or whatever we say soft skill, is that software that helps you to thrive and exponentially enhance your potential. And to be precise, if I want to name few, emotional intelligence for sure, time management for sure, communication for sure. And when we talk about communication, even how do we communicate with ourselves, the intra thing, the narratives that is going on in our mind, and our narratives becomes our reality. So here's a soft skill is required to understand yourself, your emotions, and all sort of things. And when you manifest that to others, when you start interacting with others, for sure, there's a very good news that the human emotions are not absolute, they're volatile. And that's where conflict management comes into picture. And that these soft skills helps you get ready for the world, to sail through the world in an effortless manner with the efficiency, I would say. So when we talk about soft skills, it is the thing which helps you to move up to the ladder in your career success, and also attaining peace, fulfillment, whatnot. So we cannot segregate as personal and professional. I would say the whole life is based on this, your attitude and the way you interact with yourself, and the way you communicate with others, and how you manage your emotions. Have you got the clarity? How are you focusing in your life? Everything. So life skills is everywhere. Soft skill is everywhere.
Uh, I think I strongly agree with that. And you mentioned a very important point, that talking to yourself and knowing how to talk is also a soft skill. So I think for those of them who don't get to practice soft skills, or who are not in their professional journey, or not very social, I think they can start off with talking, managing conflicts within their own mind, and talking to themselves, I think, and that's where the skill sort of cultivates. Beautiful. So most people have the idea, when we talk about soft skills, kehte hain ki it's communication skills only, and there's nothing else to it. So I think you mentioned a lot of things that come under soft skills: emotional intelligence, conflict management. I think these are a lot of things which are very, very important.
The hardware and the software both are required to function, as a gadget. You talk about an iPhone or any other phone for that matter. So phone to hoti hai, there's a hard thing, there's a hardware, but a software makes it run, right? So if we are only focusing on the technical skills, which is just helping you to do the task, then this soft skill, I would say, is an engine oil. Jo makhan ki tarah gaadi ko chalayegi, I would say it's a lubrication oil that is important for us, for our thriving personal life, and also professional life as well.
Great. So, guys, we have got an excellent analogy from Premsai ma'am, which is number one is software and hardware. So, if anybody asks you, what is the importance of soft skills, tell them, give them this example, and I think it will be very, very relevant, and it makes it very easy to understand,
Yes.
and increase its relevance. Great, great. I love the analogies. Okay. So this was about soft skills, ma'am. So I also, I remember we discussed about your journey, and how you talked about self healing. So I think self-healing is also a very big life skill in itself, which brings me to my next question, and the most important question which I consider, for today's podcast is, I've read about your journey, and I also talked to you. So how did you discover the power of self-healing, first of all? And please tell our audience about it, and how can people incorporate focus, bring more clarity into their daily lives, and improve their overall mindset and well-being through self-healing? Just shed some light on that, please.
Yeah. So I'll again take an example of a seed. Like when you see a seed, uh, if you ask this question, like, what do you see? Everybody would answer that this is a seed. But then what we do not see is a tree inside that seed or a forest inside that seed. So when we talk about a seed, the potential is not the potential is locked yet, and the power is reserved. We have not unlocked the power. So the life was beautiful, but then life at times really throws situations at you. With everybody, I think everybody would agree to this. At certain part of our stage and age, life throws situations. So when I just entered the college, I lost my brother after his marriage. His 17 days of his marriage, he met with an accident and he died. And it was a utter shock for me, and I was not able to process my emotions because he was absolute dear to me. He was he's around 8.59 years elder to me, and I admired him like anything, as an elder brother or fatherly figure, whatever you say. We were very good buddies actually, even if this 9 years difference was there. But I was not able to digest this, and I was not able to understand how do I handle myself, because I had just entered the college. So I went into a depression for almost good 2 years, and my pulse rate, my heart rate went to around 135, 140. Even doctor also said that you need to really take care, and otherwise things would be literally, it would turn worse. So somehow somebody, in this situation, what do? You go to some people, friends and parents and other people, neighbors. So somebody suggested that why don't you go and join yoga class. I did join yoga class. It happened, it helped me physical, maintaining and balancing the physical aspect, but I still was not able to get through this particular shock. And after that I got married. So that was the first mishap that happened, the depression. And somehow I was able to heal myself, but I would not say that it healed me completely. So in the meantime, I got married. I went to Delhi, and then me and my husband, we shifted there. And once you get married, what happens in the process? I think every woman would agree to that. Those who have gone through this kind of phase, that um, you forget yourself, and then you start looking at surrounding, and then you start pleasing people. You start thinking about everybody except yourself. And I think that the same thing happened with me as well. So I was working there, and I did not follow any great lifestyle, a quality lifestyle, talking about emotion that was already somehow disturbed because of my brother's death, that was still not healed. About the mind and about the thought process and about the body, everything was messed up. I messed up with all the timings, all the food habits and everything. Eventually, very slowly, I messed up with my spine, and I was into a disc prolapse condition where you uh, you will not be able to stand properly. So that was my condition, and I was bedridden for a couple of months. And that time I was in Hyderabad, and I did go to an orthopedic. An orthopedic doctor said that, Premsai, you need to think twice about your profession, because as a trainer we need to stand and facilitate the whole training programs and how it is, right? So, and he gave me a list of don't, that these are the things you should not be doing. Do not sit on the floor, do not do this, do not bend, and all those stuff. And as usual, जब doctor बोलता है, what do? You accept, because we think that doctor is the ultimate and he knows everything. But then, life has different dimensions. And as a human being, we do not access through those dimensions. So what I did, I came home and then I cried a lot as usual. Like, यही final है, I don't know, मेरी जिंदगी भी आगे क्या होगी, because I'm a mom now. My son is around 1.5 years old then. I was not able to even pick him up as well. And when he used to come running, I used to first set myself so that my back is not shocked. It can digest and adapt to the shock. So I was into that condition. But rona dhona kab tak chalega? So after a couple of months, I thought of really asking, really, there is no other way to heal. And when I started questioning myself, that's where I started opening the doors of possibilities. And when I started questioning myself, I started looking for the answers inside, within, and also outside, and talking to people, asking that is there a way, seeking help and all that stuff. That's where somehow I got to know about NLP, and I did my first basic NLP certification. I'm talking the year 2011 and 2012. And once I completed this NLP certification program, it was in the month of December. Uh, in the certification program itself, the first breakthrough happened where I understood that you can reprogram your mind. I understood that you can feed those affirmations to your mind where you can change the whole plan. I understood that you can create your own reality. And there was like we all, as a trainer, we know that we do a lot of activities, right, during this session. So similarly, in the NLP certification program also, there was an activity where we have to hit the plank, wooden plank, and it has to really break into two pieces. And I was not in a condition in my health. My hemoglobin was around 7. I was absolutely fluffy. And I said that to my mentor that nahi hoga. You can't see the condition of my health. Nahi hoga. He said, Premsai, this is in your mind and you still can do it, and reframe and your reaffirm the sentences in your mind that you can do it. And he made us do the exercise in the air. And then after that, I just hit that plank and it just broke into two. So that was the first breakthrough where I understood that there is still energy in me and that can be utilized in the right way. And within 15 days of after this incident, after this certification, I started meeting right people. There were 2, 3 people I met, and they took me to a journey of healing where I started working on my body, my health, my diet, and where doctor, orthopedic surgeon said that nothing can be done. There is only way to just, you need to go for an operation. But there was a physiotherapist. I would not say he's a physiotherapist. He's a myofascia expert. He's still there in Hyderabad. He said that, Premsai, you can jump, hop, and dance. That's a sentence he just integrated in my mind, and I still cannot remember, and I cannot, really forget this sentence. And that's where the journey started. And within a year, the whole game changed. And this is all about, and when I did this, at the same time, I was also healing at my emotional level as well. I was talking about my brother's death, right? The depression. So that also I completed, I started healing very naturally. And even if I, after that, when I talk about my brother, I take utter pride that he was my brother once upon a time, and we had a very good relationship. Now there is not such sadness in my narratives, or talking about him. So this is basically the healing journey that took place, and for which I would say that this is the reason I became a clarity and focus coach. When I started questioning myself, that why am I doing, what am I doing, and if a doctor said that this is the thing, that is it the right thing, or it is a reality of his map, may I also seek answers from others. May I also look for answers in from different dimensions, from different way. Thinking creative, even creative thinking also is a part of soft skill, isn't it? So then I started actually looking at and experiencing life in a different way. And that's where I started practicing yoga. I became a yoga practitioner. And as my myofascia expert said, you can jump, hop, and dance. And the same thing, Varun, happened. I started dancing because I am a Odissi dancer. Also, I have done my certification in Odissi as well. And we were there in US for a couple of years. I did dance and gave some dance shows there. And that was an amazing breakthrough or transformation. I would say that again, thriving physically, mentally, experiencing the well-being in life is amazing, because being in life is not sufficient. The only question is that how are you experiencing life, your existence on this earth, that makes your life grand.
Oh, I I think this was one of the most engaging stories that I listened to this year. Honestly, I mean, I'm not just saying because it's a podcast. I really feel it from the bottom of my heart. I want to ask you two things here, just to clarify what's going on in my mind. So the first one is, do you think that people, you talked about questioning. So do you think that people, when they talk to themselves in their mind, they generally give conclusions before they even start asking any questions? I mean, you just start giving answers. ये ठीक से नहीं हो रहा, ये नहीं हो रहा, this is not happening. Instead of first asking the right questions. Number one. And number two, did it take a long time for you to overcome all of this? And was it a holistic process? Just answer these two questions.
Okay, so your question is, was it a holistic process?
Yes, yes. Or was it a one way focused process, or was it a holistic process?
It's a holistic process, I would say, because the way I was looking at life and concluding before the conclusion. So when doctor said that you cannot do it, I was concluding before the conclusion. And it's not, and I was giving an example of a seed. So ये ऐसी बात है कि I think this potential everybody has, you, me, everybody has this potential. But the question is, हम दूसरे अलग अलग टाइम पे इसको क्वेश्चन करते हैं. So the beauty would be when you are at ease and you keep questioning, then you would be working on your versions. Like एक सॉफ्टवेयर का वर्जन आता रहता है, right? It is upgrading. So when you are at ease, that's the best time to keep questioning so that you keep moving upward in your ladder of success and becoming more of what you are today. But if you wait where life is going to push you, and life is absolutely going to push you, इसमें life किसी को छोड़ता नहीं है. किसी के लाइफ में ये जल्दी होती है और किसी के लाइफ में कुछ लेट होती है. But are you waiting for that life to push you to a corner and then you ask this question? That's a question again. So it was holistic, I would say, because when you start thinking in this regard and you get your experience of understanding life, you get also to understand that how your life is changing in the process. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about your body, mind, emotions, and energy. All four homes. I always use the word renovate all your four homes. So renovation karo all four homes ka. Diwali mein hum Diwali ke ghar ki safai karte hain, right? But we never think about that how many things are there lying in our mind which is not sorted, how many emotions are there we are not able to process, we don't know how to channelize those energy, and your body is speaking to you every moment. Are you aware about that? Are you listening to the body? Because ye nahi maine kiya, that's the reason I fell into the trap of disc prolapse, and spine is everything. Kya karenge agar spine hi nahi hoga, so you'll not be able to walk properly, right? It is like you will be a burden to someone at home. So the greatest and the best gift one can give to any your loved ones is taking care of yourself first. And when I say that, I talk about balancing all those four homes. You give an example of imagine an example of a car जिसमें चार tires होते हैं, wheels होते हैं, right? We cannot only focus on two and ignore the rest two. We need all four, so that when you take a ride on that particular car, then you need a lubrication engine oil. You need also the four tire to be in the right condition. And who is driving the car also should be alert and self-aware, so that the journey is okay. तो अगर गाड़ी अच्छी होगी, ड्राइवर भी अच्छा होगा, then the outside triggers can be taken care of, which means you are solid, immunity proof individual, where you are actually experiencing well-being at all four levels. If you here I would like to give you an example, Varun. If you, because you are a communication trainer also, so when you are interacting with people, you might have heard that there are certain people who really talk a lot about a particular home. When I'm saying that, all the sentences you would be speaking about, the person would be speaking about emotions or something like that. So you can make it out that he's spending much more time in that home. And people would be talking about like, yeah, बहुत overthinking हो रही है, I'm not able to process this. So which means he's living most of the time in his head, not feeling existential feeling in the body. So we need to balance all these four homes to really feel your existence on this earth. So holistically, of course, yes, when you start looking at it through these lenses, you will start creating a dominoes effect in all the aspect of your life.
Great. So I could relate to that answer, and I think you what you are saying makes complete sense. And it's like this is a topic in which usually I'm very fluent with my conversations. What happens is when a topic touches my heart, really, I start thinking a lot, and sometimes I start stammering, or whatever. I mean, I'm not very fluent because the topics that topic, it gets into you, and somewhere the audience also feels that. Great. uh, so do you think that your beliefs, especially when you were in the period where it was very difficult for you, just if you could recall that period, do you think your beliefs somewhere pulled you back from finding new solutions or asking new questions at that point?
Amazing question, I would say. Why? Because uh, yes, anybody who is not able to progress, and if he wants to progress, he may get stuck. Now this is all about NLP I'm talking about. So we may get stuck, any individual may get stuck at a neurological levels, and there are different neurological levels. So when you use a sentence like I am not so good enough in this, or something that of that, where I use your sentence starts with I, that's a belief system where you are stuck with, because you are relating it with your identity using the word I. Now my belief system was ki my elder sister had a similar condition, still has the similar condition. She has not recovered. And when that happened, she was wearing a belt. Okay. And looking at her, I created a belief that एक बार अगर back issue हो जाता है, then no one recovers out of that. Now that one belief created multiple more beliefs, and it stopped me to, even if the opportunities are right in front of you, you will not be able to see and access those opportunities, because you're being driven by your belief system. So it's a best example would be, if you, I don't know whether you know this or not, एलिफेंट जो हाथी होते हैं उसको जो ट्रेनिंग देने वाला होता है, द पर्सन हु ट्रेन्स द एलिफेंट, he never starts training the elephant. He waits for an opportunity where the small baby elephant stops trying to release from the rope he's tied with. Okay, so the small elephant is tied with a rope, and the elephant tries every single day. One day the elephant gets tired and takes the belief that कुछ नहीं होने वाला, छोड़ो. After getting this behavior pattern, then slowly the person starts training, and the elephant has become a huge in size. And we know the potential of a big elephant, how big an elephant is. With one kick, the elephant can really create a mess in that place. But because of the belief system, he never tries, because he has accepted that. So self-questioning helps you to understand when to accept, when to acknowledge, and when to, defend, when to really ask questions, when to seek, when to close the door, when to open the door. Because when you get an answer and you conclude before the conclusions, which means that you have closed the door, and no one can reach you, nor you can reach anyone. But if you keep questioning every single day about your why you are doing what you are doing, you do not need any motivational guru. You are your own guru. You know what to do, and if you at all do not know what to do, you will figure it out. So the neurological levels that I was talking about, we are stuck at times in our neurological level of belief system, maybe at an identity level. Identity मतलब बहुत गहरा चला गया है वो. So I am a depressed person. Now see, a person has named the state to his identity, and few people, they know what to do, but they don't know how to start. So it is just a question of capabilities. तो वो ज़्यादा time नहीं लगता. And few people would say that, okay, I can dance but I cannot dance here, which is an environmental issue. So when the environment is changed, the person is fine. So we are stuck at different neurological levels. We need to find out at what level are we stuck, and according to that, we intervene and we strategize the process to come out of that state. And it's not that all the belief system are bad. The only question you need to challenge yourself that if this is my belief system, it is helping me to become more resourceful or it is stopping me to become more. जैसे एक मेडिसिन की एक्सपायरी डेट होती है एंड वी एट टाइम्स कीप चेकिंग कि एक्सपायरी डेट है तो फेंक देते हैं, राइट? और अगर नहीं है तो यूजफुल है. सो बिलीफ सिस्टम के साथ भी कुछ ऐसे ही करना चाहिए. पीरियोडिकल चेकिंग इज इम्पोर्टेंट.
The one thing that I love about this conversation is the kind of analogies that you're giving. And I think this will help a lot, for the people who look pehli baar sun rahe hain, who don't have any idea about this. I love the answers. So can you also tell me how have your person, so this makes a perfect story, and this tells me why you entered into training, and it's a complete story in itself. So how have your personal struggles, that we have talked about, and experiences related to those personal struggles impacted your approach, and how did it influence your training style?
Oh, much, immense, I would say, because after doing I'm still practicing yoga. So after doing a lot of courses in yoga through Isha Foundation, I also went for a Vipassana course. I don't know whether you know about Vipassana. It is a 10 days residential program, and you go for a noble silence. You don't talk for 10 days. And I did it in Hyderabad, and it is a free of cost course all over the world.
This was within Isha Yoga Center or
No,
outside?
No. This is so Vipassana is altogether a different organization.
Okay.
And the whole world actually has centers, and it is residential program and it is free of cost. I would really underline this free of cost because it is in its purest form, and there's no one to teach you anything over there. There's an audio. You go there and you have to deposit your phone. When for the 10 days you're not talking, you're just in noble silence. And the only thing they ask you to do is just focus on your breathing pattern. How are you inhaling and how are you exhaling? Okay, so can you come again with your question, because I think I lost somewhere.
So I was asking, how did your journey struggles impacted your training?
So yeah, so when I did this and I came back, and the beautiful thing is when I went there in Hyderabad, there's 3 centers here in Hyderabad. I was amazed to see that around 70 people are there, and all of them are from IT industries. And they belong to the age group of around 18-20 to 40-45-50 age group. And I also got to know from a lot of YouTube videos that authors like Harari, and who have written Homo sapiens and all those, many people, CEOs and CXOs, they also go for this program. So after coming from this program and recovering from all this depression and becoming a yoga practitioner, all that, when I started experiencing my own life, it became at most very effortless, and I would say my efficiency went up exponentially to understand people, to connect with them, to design my program, to understand the pain area, to ask the right questions. Because if you know yourself, the way you function, and the alignment of your own body, mind, and emotions, and the sync and everything, the other person is again another human being, right? So you get to know the framework of what to ask, how to connect, how to design the program, and what exactly are they looking for the outcome, and how do you really build a rapport and help them. So it really have helped them immensely. And I think to connect with them, whatever the time it was taking earlier, the time also reduced. Efficiency went up like anything to understand what client is looking for and what my clients and coaches are also looking for. So I can see there are few programs that became my favorite because I got amazing testimonials after that. So few of them are like conflict management, and because I always start with the inner conflict, and that is my, you can say, the hero of my whole workshop. And our participants really love working towards to get sorted within themselves, because if you're not sorted inside, then you'll spill over outside. So that's where the conflict arises. So my favorite program where I got great results are conflict management, emotional intelligence, time management. Earlier, I used to think that we need to manage time. After doing all these programs, and I myself am going through this rituals and routine which helps me to become more each day, I understood that how becoming focused and managing self in the given time is actually time management. So it is not about time management, it is more of the self management, because हम time किसको मैनेज करेंगे अगर चीज होगी हमारे पास ना, टाइम है कहाँ? We cannot show that this is time. We only have this moment. And that's where how are you taking care of yourself this moment is absolutely the unit thing of time management. There is nothing, because you do not have time. हम हमारे अलमारी में कपड़े हैं, we manage that. We have a laptop, we manage that. We have a bike or a car, we manage that. We don't have time. We are just crossing through a phase from starting date and ending date, and we don't know what is the end date is. So we are crossing through a timeline, and we need to manage ourselves. We need to manage our energies in the given time. So these are some of the changes that really impacted my life. And when I started talking about it, I started curating my programs and my workshops and my games and activities around it. People could relate to this very easily, and they could introspect, they could reflect, and that's how the engagement in my sessions has gone from this level to that level. And so that was the impact, and it's still going on.
Before addressing the problems that are coming on the, reflecting on the outside, I think we should first settle in the issues that are within us, and 50% काम तो वहीं हो जाता है.
Right.
And so I think in this whole process, reading and writing would also have been a part of your journey. So we talked about your journal, coaching journal, the F factor. So would you just like to tell a little bit about that to the audience, and what was your inspiration behind making that journal, and how can somebody as a reader benefit from it?
Yeah, so coaching journal is a journal. It is actually there are spaces where you need to write, and it's a self-coaching journal, you would say. So at times what happens, Varun, ki लोगों को कभी-कभी at times time नहीं होता to enroll for a coaching session. So the first step would be it is a very affordable step, and you take the book and you just be with that book for 1 year. Now the book doesn't have anything as such कि आप उसको पढ़ोगे, but that book is going to ask you very difficult questions जो हम अपने आप को नहीं पूछते हैं at times, और या हम डरते हैं आंसर के लिए. So as simple as if I ask you that what do you really want, as so simple question, but I am sure we all, if you have not sat with that answer, with that question, you will not be able to answer quickly. And that's where हम जा तो रहे हैं, but we don't know हम कहाँ जा रहे हैं. So these type of questions are there, and you will discover it's a very step-by-step planner, which has been designed to set you on the path of you'll get a clarity and focus. And if you just, it's not needed that you need to do it daily. You can do couple of pages in a week also, 1 page at a time in a week, where this journal is going to, as I say, it is a coaching journal. The journal is going to prompt you to set your daily intention. Because why intention? एक एग्जांपल मैं यहाँ पे फिर से दूंगी कि when we set for a मूवी जाना है कल, और we set for a okay चलो गोवा ट्रिप चलते हैं, the intention is set, and you see after that you don't need to push that individual or those group of people. They're all on their own because they have set the intention कि गोवा जाना है, and किसी को कुछ भी responsibility देने की जरूरत नहीं है. They will take the responsibility and they will do it. Okay, ticket करो, this करो, that करो, and you have a good solid planning from planning the whole day, couple of days, whatever you plan to stay, and coming back. आने तक you have all the intention set, and the action also follows after that. So setting intention is like orienting yourself towards the task that you intend to do, and that makes your task much effortless and easier for you. So this journal prompts you to set your daily intentions. It also helps you to prioritize your task, and as I said, it is going to take care all your 4 homes: your body, mind, emotions, and energy. That sync is there in that book. And apart from that, it is also going to give you nice little tools to declutter your physical space and also your mental space. Because every single day हमारे घर में एक कुछ तो dust निकलता है, right? The कचड़ा or whatever we say, and we put it in the trash can. Every single day हर एक घर से कुछ ना कुछ निकलता है. And we consume so many things, right? Through our five senses. So वो कचरा भी तो निकलना चाहिए, right? So this coaching journal is going to help you to declutter your space and also declutter your mind. There are certain tools over there. Apart from that, it is going to align your wheels of life, the balance, right? I'm talking about body, mind, emotions, and energy. And it is also going to challenge those belief system we were talking about. Are there any belief system which किसका expiry date देखना है और you need to challenge और थोड़ा सा उसको editing करना है. So we take photographs, our selfie photographs, and then we edit a lot. तो हमको पता है कि मोबाइल में edit है. There is an option. We need to believe that यहाँ पे भी edit है. We need to edit those thought process. It is doable. Just to believe, and then you will see, you set the intention and you'll be able to do it. As simple as that. So this planner is basically is layered in a way that it is going to help you to open up, to express yourself, to reflect, and at the same time you choose your responses and you plan, you practice mindfulness while being on the journey of self-awareness. So it is going to help you holistically to build a conscious habit over a period of time, and it is going to help you to track your strategies, plans, and everything. So if you give a little bit of time, 10-15 minutes or maybe half an hour in a week's time, I would say, sit with that, because it is not that easy to answer those questions which is there. And once you start thinking in that regard, I think after a couple of months you will be able to see the changes, because your thinking process has changed and your the way you see whatever is happening in your life. That book is going to give you a different experience or different dimension of experience altogether. So that's what I have named it as the F factor, because focus is so important. And if you just give an exercise to everybody asking that what is life, you will see 100 people is going to give you 100 different definition of answers. Why? Because वो जहाँ focus कर रहे हैं, according to that only the answer is going to come, isn't it? So focus is so important that it gives you the experience of life, and that's where integrating focus and getting clarity, or getting clarity and integrating focus, ये दोनों आगे पीछे चलते ही रहेंगे. The thing is, when you set that intention that this is how I'm going to look at life, you will see the windows is going to be, you will enhance your perception like anything. तो जिसका जितना बड़ा window, उसका वैसे ही view उसको दिखेगा, and that's why you're going to define life according to that.
Great. So where can we buy this journal? I'll link. Do you have a link that
we do have a link. So for now, the link is there in my website. Within 2 months, it is going to be there in Amazon also, in the Prime section. So I'm going to share the website link with you, which you can put it, in the description here in this podcast.
That's awesome, and I think we need more material related to self-help, which can really make a difference, and especially when it's coming from the people who have had experience dealing with problems firsthand, instead of just plain advice. And great.
And that was the urge for making this, creating this journal. I would say it is a baby, because it took exactly 9 months to really curate and do this and take a print and publish it and everything. It took 9 months, and I was very much skeptical about कि नाम क्या दूं. And then out of the blue, one fine in the evening, actually late evening, it just stuck कि अरे F factor देने से कैसे रहेगा. So because the focus factor, and it is very easy to relate to your mind, focus factor, the F factor, just like that, it मुंह पे चढ़ जाता है. So that's how it this idea and this book and the name, everything came into my reality.
Great, guys. So 2 words for you to remember for the day. Number 1 is the F factor, and second is the VJ show. Okay, so please keep watching the videos. Great. So I have had a great interaction with you. I just want to ask you one more question, and this is for the audience. So we have talked about your challenges, you've talked about your story, and we have also talked about your journal, the F factor. So this question that I want to ask you is especially for the young audience that will be watching this video. So many people face challenges in life, especially young people today. They don't see a way forward in life, and they feel like a failure. some tips and exercises, or something like that, for our listeners who are watching this video, just to start their own journey of self-healing?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing to do is there are a few questions, if you can just sit with it and dwell with it instead of starting the day with your phone, interacting with your phone. You interact with yourself, sit 10 minutes with yourself, um, uh, and ask these questions to yourself, that what is it that you're living for. That's one question. You can dwell around that. um, or just, why do you do what you do? What are the plans that you have for that day? Or the other question could be, what do you really really want moving forward in your life, and what is my long term goal and what is my short term goal. And even better, there is one more question which I really make my clients at times do. It's a very interesting exercise. That is like, imagine ki whatever is your age today. For example, if your age is 20 today, imagine that your 25-year-old is writing letter to your 20-year-old and thanking you that whatever the steps that you've taken, because of that, your 25-year-old is happy. Abhi a 25-year-old is an example. Okay. You can think of any age. Maybe आप आज 20 साल के हो तो आप 21-year-old आपको 20-year-old को letter लिख रहा है. For example, Varun is writing letter to Varun. Your older Varun is writing letter to your present Varun and thanking. तो क्या लिखोगे? How about your older self writing a gratitude letter to your younger self? And what would you thank for? क्या क्या किया आपने? So thank you so much because you have taken this decision. Dash dash dash. Thank you for stopping those habits. Dash dash dash. Thank you for this new learning because of which I am who I am today. So new learning. Thank you for continuing those good things what you have been doing, and thank you for pausing. See what all that you can add to the list. Sit with this. It is not that easy, but then this is going to help you to deep dive to your own self. And believe me, you are that seed which has a lot of potential. It just needs those sunlight and those, fertility, or whatever, the fertile or the manure or whatever it is. And when you sit with it, you will get your sunlight and everything. You will be able to answer this. And if at all there is a challenge, coaches are there, mentors are there. You might be having someone whom you are following. Talk to them. There are ways. There are ways to evolve. There are ways to tap those reserve power from that seed. There are ways to make your dormancy to manifest its whatever the potential is there in the seed. So there are different ways. So when you do this exercise, so a lot of questions I have shared. When you sit with this and start writing, just don't think. Put it in pen and paper. When you write it in pen and paper, you will not believe that your unconscious is going to guide you. अरे हाँ यार, ये तो मैंने कभी सोचा ही नहीं. 2 साल के बाद क्या होगा जो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगेगा? What are the things I'm going to thank for my today's Premsai, for example? And whatever comes up, you may take 7-10 days, 1 month time. See the pulse that comes up comes from within, and it is there in your pen and paper, and start working towards it. Mentors are there, coaches are there. That's where you will be able to go to that potential and unleash those potential for yourself, to be the best version for yourself.
I think I'm going to apply a lot of things. Firstly, starting from not using my phone in the morning. I think that's the first thing that I'm going to.
So here, Varun, I think I've not shared this. So that's the reason I have made a quotation book which talks about first thing in the morning. So this is, you set an intention for the day, and the intention could be anything. So this is something, the intention is going to speak to you. Now, for example, it could be like as simple as today, each time I use phone, I will ask myself, what for, why now? What for, why now? What else can I do in that time? So keeping this simple quotation, which हम यहाँ पे ऐसे quotations है जो हम usually भूल जाते हैं करना. So I have put all this very realistic, simple liners, 2-liners, which will set the intention for the whole day for yourself. तो ये अगर आगे रहेगा, तो you will definitely ask yourself the moment you touch your phone. If it is really needed, you will use that phone. Otherwise, you can keep it aside. So this is one of the examples. So similarly, it's not about only phone, but many other things are also there. Like for example, if somebody is feeling very low, it could be like, my intention today is to list down my strengths. So I have named it as first thing in the morning, only because of that. So we need to set the intention कि आज का जो मेरा दिन का जो agenda होगा, this is going to be around this intention. And that's where you are committed to that, and you have fed that in your mind, and that's where your mind is going to take that feed and keep you aligned for that particular day, helping you focus.
I think there is a very important message for the audience, which is to basically start asking right questions in whatever form they do. And I think this is going to help. This is not just going to be a podcast full of information. I think this is just going to be full of insights, and guys, I strongly insist you that you have heard Premsai ma'am talking about her journey and how you can see how positive she is, when she's talking today. So she has come out of a zone where she was very unhappy, and she was also depressed. So if so my message to all of you over here is that you should start asking the right questions, start taking action, stop overthinking, and just focus. I think there's a lot of life left for you to work things out, and just be on the right path and follow whatever you can, and just that's the message out there. And I think everything else has been covered in the questions that we have discussed. Once again, thank you so much, Premsai ma'am, for coming on the show. It was a pleasure to have you, and I'm surely going to release this episode super soon because I want this information to just spread like wildfire. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much, Varun, for having me, and I really thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. Amazing questions. I think because of your questions, those answers, actually, I was able to access those answers. So that's where my message to everybody is: never stop asking questions, because that's going to open a lot of doors of possibilities.
Great. So I'm going to close this episode with a statement: never stop asking questions to yourself. So make sure you stay tuned for the episodes to come in the future, because every journey at the Varun Jaggi Show is a journey worth taking. Thank you so much. Bye bye.